Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to talk about the Sig MCX rifle. Here it is. I've talked about it before. Some of you guys have mislabeled me as a Sig basher. Nothing further from the truth could be said of me. I have not been a Sig basher. Now, have I pointed out problems with Sig products? Absolutely. I've pointed out problems with, Ruger products and HK products and Remington products and Sig products and Robinson Armament products. I've pointed out problems with all sorts of people's products. It doesn't mean I bash their companies or hate them. Quite the contrary. I love and support these companies, especially the American ones. I like to see them succeed. And if my criticisms are to be taken in any way whatsoever, I would hope they would be taken in a constructive manner and the companies would work to improve their products. So the Sig MCX is the first long gun which Sig put out that I actually like. The 5.56 series of rifles I never did care much for. The 5.56R that I purchased, which I was really excited about because the 7.62 by 39 chambering turned out to be a complete and utter mess. The 5.56 XIR, again, I was excited about, turned out to be a complete and utter mess. And then the 551A1, the classic Sig rifle I purchased, which is no longer in production apparently. I can't find it on their website anymore. I was so excited about that gun. It was just a rattle trap that shot 4-inch groups with match ammo. So I've never really been impressed with Sig rifles. This one changed all that. Now, it's done pretty good in my torture test. I won't say it did great, but it did far better than I thought it would. And it's enough for me to keep the rifle around, and I really enjoy shooting it. It's a very lightweight rifle. It's modular. It's an interesting design, and it's fresh and new and American made. And that means something to me. So when I got the rifle, I really wanted to get it in 300 Blackout. I could only find 5.56. And so I've been shooting it as a 5.56 for a while, but a viewer reached out to me and said that he had a 300 Blackout kit that he would be willing to sell to me. And I snatched it up because I've not been able to find one from Sig or anywhere else. And so I bought his kit. So what I want to show you guys is how quickly and easily I can go from 5.56 to 300 Blackout with the MCX rifle and show you just how quiet the thing can be as a 300 Blackout. All right, here we go. All set up as a 300 Blackout. I do have my Griffin Armament flash comp on the end of the gun here. Now, I did have to reach out to Sig and get the adapter because they have a taper cut onto the end of the barrel, which is proprietary to their suppressor line. They do offer this little band, which you, this little disc which you slip on, which gives you a right angle to put whatever muzzle device you want on there so you can run a can other than a Sig can. Now, I do have some Sig cans inbound from Silencer shop that I'll be testing to see how they work. They're really hard cans to find, but I hear good things about them, so I'm really anxious to try them out. In the meantime, I'm going to use my Griffin Armament Recce 7, which is a thread-on version with a shoulder taper mount there. I'm going to screw this on there and just snug it. When you're using taper mounts, don't wrench them on, folks. When you get them hot, they'll set themselves and then it'll be almost impossible to get off. Let's see, the ammunition I'm going to fire out of it first here is some of the Sig ammunition. This is a 300 Blackout 220 grain. There's the label. This is what the box looks like, and you can see the price. You can probably find it cheaper than that online. I picked it up at a local store. Now let's see what it sounds like. I'm going to use a Lancer magazine, a 20-round magazine. Here's the rounds. All right. The nice thing about 300 Blackout, works in a standard 5.56 magazine. Go ahead and stick it in the rifle. Charge the rifle. Now, check this out, guys. This is going to be seriously quiet. Now listen for the trigger reset. I'm using my shotgun mic today because I know a lot of you guys complain about the gunshots not being realistic. Well, this is about as real as it gets, okay, guys? I'm going to step closer. I want you guys to see what the gas looks like coming out. So it's still a little bit gassy. All right, so I'm getting a lot of gas in my face. But as long as you're not ripping rounds off really quick, it's still quite manageable. I can actually hear the bullets hitting the dirt downrange. I just love 300 Blackout. All right, and locks open the last shot fired. So that works really, really well. This is the auto-regulating gas system. It's not the manually selectable version, so I cannot make adjustments to the gas system on the 300 Blackout kit that I have. But that doesn't seem to be a problem. I'm definitely picking up, you know, solid bolt velocity. I would say it's probably just a bit over-gassed, but it's not horrible. It's extremely pleasant to shoot. This would be an ideal deer rifle. We just got 300 Blackout, believe it or not, as a legal caliber for deer hunting here in Indiana, so I'm probably going to wind up using this rifle on some deer hunts. I like it that much. So yeah, that's really kind of cool. So let's do the caliber swap. Show you how that's done. First, I'm going to drop the magazine out of the gun. Make sure that the weapon is empty. Then I'm going to break it down just like you break down an AR-15. You have 2 push pins. Matter of fact, it's the same hole pattern as an AR-15. I demonstrated in another video that you can actually put the MCX upper on an AR-15 lower, but you should purchase an adapter to do so. Just kind of wiggle. The pins can be a little bit tight. Just kind of wiggle the front, the upper and the lower a little bit. Push on the pins, and they'll eventually come loose. There we go. All right, take the lower, set it aside. Not going to need it. Now we're just going to focus on the upper. Once you have that pin out in the front, that push pin, the front handguard, or I should say the handguard, will just slide right off the gun. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. Now you can see how the barrel mounts to the receiver. Right here you have 2 captive screws. One is marked 1 and the other is marked 2. This will be important in the future. You'll need a Torx number 27 head to loosen these or tighten them. You don't need to take them all the way out. They are captive. Just loosen them until... You also want to take the bolt and carry out of the gun. Keep the bolt close by because we're going to have to do something to that here in a moment. All right, now once you get the screws loose, you should be able to pull on the barrel and it'll come right out of the receiver. Now this is the 300 Blackout barrel, and you'll notice a difference between it and the 5.56 barrel that came in my rifle. This is the 5.56 barrel here on the top. I have the adjustable gas regulator on the 5.56. On the 300 Blackout kit I purchased, it has a completely different gas system. It's supposed to be self-regulating. Now, when I contacted Sig, telling them I needed a 30 caliber adapter here on the end so I can attach my own muzzle device, the tech they spoke to on the phone seemed a little bit surprised that this 300 Blackout kit I had purchased would work in my gun. I guess there's some generational changes between the guns, so I don't know how to tell you which will work with what gun you may own. Sig, when they make generational changes, historically they will not increment the model number like A1, A2, A3. They'll just make changes and then, you know, that's it. It's kind of like the MPX. They've made at least 2 generational changes to that gun, and to the point where it even takes different magazines, so you have to look for magazine follower color when you're buying magazines for your MPX. So I'm going to set the 300 Blackout barrel aside, pick up my 5.56 barrel, and you'll notice it has these little pins, much like an AR-15, except the MCX is going to have 2 of them, one on each side. Those are index pins, and that's going to help you get the barrel in straight and also set your headspace. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and push the barrel in. You can see that just pop in, okay? See how that looks? And now, this is where the numbering system comes into play. To tighten the barrel down and make sure it's fully seated. And then I'm going to tighten screw number 1 down until it's snug. Then I'm going to tighten screw number 2 down until it's snug. According to the Sig manual, you will want to torque these to 60 inch-pounds. Okay, so you will need a torque wrench. I use a fathead wrench. You can adjust the torque by turning this little cap, and your torque readings are right in the front in a little window. Now you'll want to tighten screw 1 down first, and then torque screw 2 down. Okay? Go ahead and make sure I've Got that at 60 inch-pounds. Had it at 55. Go back and hit screw 1 again, and then screw 2. All it's left to do now is to replace this piston arm with the 556 version. You'll notice this one is marked 300 Blackout. Okay, we're going to swap it out. Now, one thing I've noticed is that on the 300 Blackout, this little arm that holds the recoil springs sets on the bottom side. Okay, on the 556, it sets on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and just field strip this. I'm not going to go and explain the entire process. I've field stripped this before. Just quickly do it here. And then take your bolt out. Now, your firing pin is going to be used as a tool right here on the bottom of the carrier. You'll notice there's a hole that's the exact same diameter as the firing pin. That's because you're going to push on a little plunger that will allow you to slide that arm off the bolt carrier. All right? Now I'm going to replace it with the 556 carrier simply by sliding this back on and use my firing pin to push that detent and pop it into place. All right, now I'm going to reassemble the bolt carrier group. And I have a reassembled bolt carrier group. Now, if I have my barrel mounted, I can go ahead and put everything back together again. Put the T-handle in. Seat the bolt and carrier like that. Take the lower, well, I guess I should put the handguard on first. That always helps. Could get a little bit warm. Slide the handguard on. Push that front pin in, back pin, and the rifle is now set up for 556. Again, I have a Griffin flash comp mounted using the Sig adapter, so it gives me a right shoulder. This time I'll be using one of my M4 SD cans, M4 SD2s. Slides over and locks into place. All right, got that locked into place. The ammunition is just going to be some M855 ball, courtesy of Federal Ammo, straight up military ball. Now this isn't subsonic, so it's going to be quite a bit louder, but it still should be hearing safe. So, yeah, that's pretty nice. Watch the gas. A little gassy, not bad. I really like the way this rifle shoots. Since I have plans to use the MCX as a deer rifle this fall, I'm going to get it set up and do a little bit of accuracy testing this afternoon just to get the gun zeroed. The optic that I'm using is a Bro BTO. It's the affordable version of their BCO. Has MSRP of right around $1,200. You can find them online, usually for a little bit less. The optics clarity on these things are nothing less than outstanding. It's a fixed 4-power sight, but what's unique about this sight is that it has a sensor inside that's looking at the target area. It's taking in consideration what the light conditions are at the target area, not where the shooter is. And when you have the illuminator reticle turned on, it automatically adjusts the brightness level of that illuminator reticle, which is just a crosshair in the center. In the case of this particular sight, it automatically adjusts the brightness based on ambient light conditions downrange, not where you're at. Sights like the ACOG that you're used to, with the light gathering unit on the top, a lot of people put tape over them because they cause blooming, they're too bright. Those are taking into consideration light conditions at the shooter's position, which is less than ideal. If you're in a dark room shooting out into sunlight, for example, your sight, if it's taking into consideration those light conditions where you're at, it's going to bring that illumination down when it should be cranking it up, because you're shooting into sunlight, you're not going to be able to see your illumination. So anyway, That's the sight I'm going to go with on the rifle. The ammunition is Harvester 220 grain Match King. I picked this stuff up for around 22 bucks a box at my local gun shop, Live Sports in Valparaiso, Indiana. It's manufactured by Silencer Co. All right, got the bolt lock to the rear. Have a few rounds of the 220 grain subsonic Match Kings. I'm using a Griffin armament suppressor, and this rifle is insanely quiet. I'm going to fire a couple of 3-shot groups. I only have a couple of boxes of this ammunition. It can be a little bit hard to find at the local shop. You can typically find it online, though, fairly easily using AmmoSeek. All right, let's go see what kind of groups this thing just put down. Here we are, downrange at 100 yards, and here's the 2 3-shot groups that I just put down with the rifle using that Sierra ammunition. The first 3-shot group right here has a center to center of pretty much 1 inch. That's pretty darn good. That accuracy is more than acceptable for what I intend to use it for. The second group, center to center, is 1 1/4, just under 1 1/4 inches. So it's a 1 MOA gun at 100 yards. Now I am using subsonic ammunition. We have a lot of folks that come in the store. 300 Blackout as a pistol has been legal in the state of Indiana for deer hunting for a little while. And we've had deer hunters come in and report very good results with their pistols. So out of a rifle, I don't expect much difference in terms of performance. I know a lot of you guys are going to say that 300 Blackout's inhumane. Now, where I live, it's really wooded. Actually, the property that I hunt on is the same property that's my range. It's 60 acres, and I know where all the deer are. And when you take deer out here, it's usually well inside of 100 yards. So with shot placement, precision, I do think the 300 Blackout's going to make for a fine deer caliber for me. We'll see how it goes this fall. Maybe I'll change my mind later. But I'm really looking forward to getting out and hunting Bambi with the Sig MCX. I hope you guys enjoyed coming out to the range with me today to see how caliber conversions are done to the Sig MCX rifle. This rifle continues to impress me. I really like this gun quite a bit, right down to the stock that a lot of folks have said they don't like either the looks of or the feel of. I think it works just fine for my purposes. There are other stock options available for the gun. For those of you that may not like this one, but I like how thin it is, the profile when it's folded. And when it's deployed, I'm an old AK guy, so I'm used to wire stocks. I find it to be comfortable and quite functional. Have no issues with it whatsoever. I like the rifle as it's configured. An SBR would be really cool, but yeah, probably not anytime soon. The kits, I don't know where to tell you to get them, guys. You can try calling up Sig. You may find them online. Gun Broker, I got lucky. A fan told me he had a kit that he was willing to sell me. Was it worth it? Absolutely. I'm really glad to have the 300 Blackout now in this rifle because just a few weeks ago, like I said, we got 300 Blackout rifles legalized in the state of Indiana, among other calibers, for hunting. So I will be using this to take deer this fall. And 300 Blackout is just one of those calibers I've really fallen in love with because it works so well with suppressors. And so having one of my new favorite guns in 300 Blackout, which this will probably become my primary 300 Blackout rifle, is just great. I'm really happy about that. If you guys have any questions, ask those questions down below in the comment section. I will stick around for the first couple of days after I post a video and try to answer all the questions that I can. And if you'd like to support the Military Arms channel, please swing by and check out Copper Custom. It's our online store, and again, it's the best possible way to support the channel. And if you haven't already, please check out full30.com. That's full30.com. We've taken all the YouTube's best firearm content creators and brought them under one roof, and that is full30.com. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and we will talk to you guys soon. A little gassy. Somehow, I don't even oil the thing that much, and I'm getting moisture out of it. Right in the face. Still like it. I forgive it. It's kind of a One of those weird relationships.